The stars looked different tonight. Commander Tae-ho Kim noticed this as he stood at the large observation window of Earth Defense Station Alpha. Something was changing in the night sky, a new light growing brighter with each passing minute. "Commander, we have an unknown object entering Earth orbit," reported Officer June at the monitoring station. His voice was steady, but Tae-ho could hear the tension underneath. "Size?" Tae-ho asked, walking briskly to the main control panel. "Massive, sir. Nearly 2 kilometers in length." Tae-ho felt his heart beat faster. Humanity had spread throughout their solar system over the past 50 years. They had built colonies on Mars, mining operations on the moons of Jupiter, and research stations circling Saturn. But they had never encountered another intelligent species. Until now. "Alert all Earth Defense Forces. Level 2 readiness." "Not. Level 1, Tae-ho ordered. "We don't want to appear hostile if they aren't." Screens across the station lit up with activity as the unknown vessel slowed its approach and settled into a stable orbit above Earth. It was unlike anything humans had designed, smooth and curved where human ships were angular, glowing with soft blue light where human vessels used harsh spotlights. "They're broadcasting something, sir," June said, adjusting his headset. It sounds like they're trying different languages." The speakers in the command center suddenly came to life with a voice that sounded almost human, but with strange, musical tones behind the words. "People of Earth, we come in peace. We are the Ardanian Collective, representatives of the Galactic Confederation. We wish to establish diplomatic contact." Within 6 hours, the United Earth Council had assembled in their Geneva headquarters. Tae-ho sat beside Soo-jin Park, Earth's chief diplomat, as they prepared to make first contact via video transmission. Soo-jin was calm and composed, though Tae-ho noticed how tightly she gripped her tablet. She had trained her entire life for diplomatic missions, but never for something like this. "Remember," she whispered to Tae-ho before the transmission began. "Show strength but not aggression, curiosity but not ignorance. We represent all of humanity today." The large screen in front of them flickered to life, revealing a being unlike any Tae-ho had imagined. The alien had blue skin that seemed to shimmer slightly, large eyes without, pupils, and a tall, slim body. Despite these differences, its face showed expressions that seemed remarkably familiar. "I am Vixal, ambassador of the Ardanian Collective and representative of the Galactic Confederation," the alien said, its mouth moving in sync with the words they heard. "We have observed your world for some time and believe you are ready to join the greater galactic community." Soo-jin stepped forward. "I am Soo-jin Park, Chief Diplomat of United Earth. With me is Commander Tae-ho Kim of our Defense Force. We welcome you and are eager to learn about your civilization." Over the next several hours, Vixal explained that the Confederation included thousands of species across hundreds of star systems. They had governed space for over 10,000 years, establishing trade routes, sharing technology, and maintaining peace. "Your species has developed quite rapidly," Vixal noted, displaying charts comparing Earth's technological progress to other worlds. "What took many species millennia to achieve, you have accomplished in mere centuries." Tae-ho thought he detected something in Vixal's tone. Was it admiration or concern? He couldn't be sure. After the initial meeting, Earth fell into a frenzy of activity. News of alien contact spread worldwide, causing both celebration and fear. Religious leaders debated what this meant for their faiths. Scientists eagerly anticipated new knowledge. Military leaders like Tae-ho quietly prepared for all possibilities. 3 days later, a smaller vessel detached from the main Ardanian ship and descended to Earth, landing on a specially prepared area near Geneva. Tae-ho stood with Soo-jin and other Earth leaders as Vixal emerged, accompanied by 4 other aliens of different species. "The air is pleasant," Vixal said, taking a deep breath without any breathing apparatus. "Your world is quite beautiful." The delegation was taken to the United Earth Council building, where more detailed discussions began. The Confederation offered trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and limited technology sharing. "You understand we cannot provide our most advanced technologies immediately," Vixal explained. New member species are integrated gradually to ensure stability. Of course, Sujin replied diplomatically, though Taeho noticed her slight frown. During a break in the talks, Taeho found himself alone with one of the other aliens, a small green-skinned being named Kraz. "You humans are fascinating," Kraz said quietly. "So adaptable, so quick to learn. Is that unusual?" Taeho asked. Kraz tilted his head. "Most species specialize. The Ardanians are natural diplomats. My people are mathematicians. The Volturi are warriors. But humans, you seem capable of anything you set your minds to." Before Taeho could ask more questions, Vixal returned and Kraz fell silent. In the weeks that followed, human representatives were invited aboard the Ardanian vessel to learn about the Confederation. Taeho was part of a military delegation shown the ship's defensive systems. "These shields can withstand almost any known weapon," the Ardanian officer explained proudly. "Almost?" Taeho asked. The officer hesitated. "There are always advancements being made." At night, Taeho would meet with Sujin to share observations. They had become the unofficial leaders of Earth's first contact team. "They're holding back," Sujin said one evening, as they reviewed the day's meetings. "They share impressive technology, but I sense there's much more they aren't showing us." "I've noticed the same in their military demonstrations," Taeho agreed. "And have you seen how they sometimes look at us when they think we aren't watching? Like scientists observing an experiment." Sujin nodded slowly. "I feel there's something they fear about us, though I can't imagine what." What neither of them knew was that at that very moment, a secret Confederation council was meeting in a secure room aboard the main vessel. "The humans show concerning patterns," Vixal reported to the council. "Their rate of adaptation exceeds all projections. They ask questions our newest members take decades to consider." An elder council member nodded gravely. "Have they been classified yet?" "Yes," another member replied. "Initial assessment places them as a potential level 5 threat species." A murmur ran through the council. No species had been classified level 5 in over 2,000 years. "Begin implementation of containment protocols," the head counselor ordered. "For now, continue diplomatic relations. Give them enough to satisfy their curiosity, but nothing that could accelerate their development further." As the meeting ended, Vixal looked out a viewport at the blue planet below. These humans had accomplished so much in so little time. What would they become in a century? A millennium? The thought both fascinated and terrified him. On Earth, unaware of the Confederation's fears, humanity celebrated their new place in the galactic community, eager for the journey ahead. 3 years passed since the Ardanian ship first appeared in Earth's orbit. The relationship between humanity and the Galactic Confederation seemed to be going well. Earth goods traveled to distant worlds, and alien visitors became a common sight in major cities. Jinwoo Lee stood on the bridge of his merchant ship, the Stellar Phoenix. At 35, he was one of the first human captains approved to travel the trade routes beyond Mars. His vessel was small compared to Confederation ships, but it was fast and reliable. "Captain, we're approaching the Saturn checkpoint," said Hana Choi, his first officer. She had been with Jinwoo since before first contact, when they had transported goods between Earth and the Mars colonies. Jinwoo nodded. "Prepare for inspection." This was routine now. Every human ship had to pass through checkpoints where Confederation officials would inspect cargo and verify flight plans. The officials always claimed it was for safety, but Jinwoo had begun to notice patterns that bothered him. After the inspection, which took longer than usual, Jinwoo called Hana to his private office. "Have you noticed anything strange about the trade agreements?" he asked her. Hana thought for a moment. "They're very specific about what technology we can purchase." "Exactly," Jinwoo said. "We can buy their engines, but not the tools to repair them ourselves. We can get their medical devices, but not the knowledge to make our own versions." He pulled up a chart on his screen showing Earth's trade with the Confederation over the past 3 years. "Look at this. We're becoming dependent on them. They take our raw materials and art, things that don't threaten them. In return, they give us technology that makes us rely on them more." Hana frowned. That can't be accidental. I don't think it is, Jinwoo agreed. And there's more. Remember last month when we had to wait at the Jupiter station? I overheard two Ardanian officers talking. They didn't know I could understand their language. Jinwoo had always had a gift for languages. He had spent the past 3 years learning as many alien tongues as he could. What did they say? Hana asked. They mentioned something called containment protocols and classified Earth as a level 5 something. They seemed worried. 2 weeks later, while passing through the rings of Saturn, Jinwoo detected strange communication signals. The Stellar Phoenix had been upgraded with some modified scanning equipment that wasn't exactly approved by the Confederation. These signals are encrypted, he told Hana as they worked to decode them. But I think I can break through. After hours of work, they managed to translate parts of the transmission. What they found confirmed Jinwoo's fears. Level 5. Threat species. Rapid development poses serious risk. Containment rather than integration. Council approves Phase 2 restrictions. Jinwoo and Hana looked at each other in shock. We need to take this to Earth, Hana said. Jinwoo nodded grimly. Full speed back home. Upon returning to Earth, Jinwoo requested an urgent meeting with the United Earth Council. In the 3 years since first contact, the Council had grown to include representatives from all Earth nations and colonies. Captain Lee, these are serious accusations, said Councillor Min Park after hearing Jinwoo's report. The Confederation has helped us advance our technology and expand our presence in the solar system. With respect, Councillor, they've been carefully controlling what we receive, Jinwoo replied. The evidence suggests they view us as a threat, to be contained, not as equals. Several council members shook their heads in disbelief. Humans had begun to see the Confederation as mentors and allies. No one wanted to believe they might have hidden motives. We need more proof before we can take any action, another councillor said. For now, we should continue as normal while investigating further. Jinwoo left the meeting frustrated. Only Soo-Jin Park, who had risen to become Earth's senior diplomat, to the Confederation seemed to truly consider his warnings. I felt something wasn't right for some time, she told him privately. Keep gathering evidence. I'll do the same for my position. Jinwoo returned to his ship, determined to find more proof. Over the next 6 months, he made regular trading runs, each time using his unauthorized equipment to gather more information about Confederation communications. Hana helped him organize the data. It's clear they're implementing some kind of plan, she said as they reviewed their findings. But what's the end goal? They got their answer sooner than expected and in the worst possible way. Jinwoo was meeting with Tae-ho, now an admiral in Earth's growing defense fleet, when the first reports came in. Massive ships just appeared near Neptune, a young officer reported breathlessly. At least 50 of them, much larger than anything we've seen before. More reports followed quickly. Confederation warships had appeared throughout the solar system, positioning themselves near Earth, Mars, and all human colonies. Try to contact them, Tae-ho ordered. All communication attempts failed until a message from Vixal appeared on screens. Across the planet. People of Earth, the Ardanian ambassador began, his tone formal and cold. Nothing like the friendly diplomat they had known for 3 years. The Galactic Confederation has determined that humanity represents a potential threat to galactic stability and peace. Jinwoo and Tae-ho exchanged grim looks. This confirmed everything Jinwoo had feared. Effective immediately, Vixal continued. Humanity will be restricted to the solar system. No human ships may travel beyond the orbit of Neptune. All technology transfers will be limited and supervised. Population growth controls will be implemented. Outrage spread across Earth as the message continued. Vixal explained that the Confederation had encountered aggressive species before and had developed protocols to handle them. Your rate of technological advancement is unprecedented, Vixal said. In 3 years, you have adapted our basic technologies in ways that took other species decades. Your natural tendency toward innovation makes you unpredictable and potentially dangerous. When the transmission ended, the United Earth Council convened an emergency session. Jinwoo, Hana, Tae-ho, and Soo-Jin were all invited to attend. This is nothing less than imprisonment, Taeho said, his voice tight with anger. They fear us, so they cage us. Can we fight back? Someone asked. Taeho shook his head. Not directly. Their technology is still far beyond ours, and they have us surrounded. Jinwoo stepped forward. But we have something they don't expect. They think we'll accept this situation because most species would. They don't understand human nature. What are you suggesting? Counselor Min asked. We appear to comply while secretly preparing, Jinwoo said. We find ways around their blockade. We develop our own technology in secret. We use their fear of us as our advantage. Sujin nodded slowly. The Confederation is old and set in its ways. They've never faced a species like ours before. Then it's time we showed them what humans do when backed into a corner, Taeho said firmly. We adapt. We overcome. We survive. As the meeting continued into the night, plans for a covert resistance began to take shape. The Confederation thought they had contained humanity. They would soon learn that humans could never truly be caged. Outside the council chamber, ordinary citizens looked up at the night sky where Confederation ships now hovered like silent watchers. The stars had always represented hope and possibility to humans. Now they represented a challenge humanity would have to overcome. The betrayal was complete, but so was humanity's determination to prove the Confederation wrong. Earth's legacy would not be written by alien hands. 6 months had passed since the Confederation imposed their blockade on humanity. On the surface, Earth appeared to have accepted its fate. Human ships stayed within the allowed boundaries. Officials met with Confederation representatives regularly and agreed to their terms. But deep in the asteroid belt, hidden from alien sensors, humanity was preparing its answer. Dr. Ji-ho Kang wiped sweat from his forehead as he examined the alien device on his workbench. Before the blockade, he had been a professor of quantum physics at Seoul University. Now he led a secret research team aboard Research Station Prometheus, hidden inside a hollowed-out asteroid. How is it coming? Asked Admiral Taeho, who had just arrived on his monthly inspection tour. Better than expected, Ji-ho replied. We've learned more about their quantum communication system in 6 months than they probably expected us to learn in 20 years. Ji-ho turned on the device, which began to emit a soft blue glow. This is a modified version of their standard communicator, but ours can't be detected by their monitoring systems. Taeho nodded with satisfaction. And the other projects? Come, see for yourself. Ji-ho led Taeho through the station, which hummed with activity. Over 300 scientists and engineers worked here, all volunteers who had been secretly transported to the asteroid belt. In one lab, researchers were developing new propulsion systems based on Confederation technology but with human improvements. In another, engineers tested materials that could absorb or deflect the energy weapons used by alien ships. They think they're limiting our growth, Ji-ho said as they walked. But they've actually forced us to become more creative. When you can't go forward, you find ways around. That's what they don't understand about humans, Taeho agreed. Limits just make us more determined. The most important area was the Secure Communications Center, where teams monitored Confederation movements and maintained contact with other hidden facilities throughout the solar system. We've identified a pattern in their patrol routes, said a young operator. There's a regular gap near Neptune's orbit, especially when the planet is at this position in its cycle. How long does the gap last? Taeho asked. About 6 hours. Something in Neptune's atmosphere interferes with their sensors. Taeho studied the display thoughtfully. That could be useful. Later that day, Taeho met with Hana Choi, who now commanded her own ship, the Shadow Dancer. It was one of Earth's newest vessels, built in secret with a combination of human ingenuity and adapted alien technology. We need to test if we can slip past their blockade, Taeho told her. Your ship is our best chance. Small, fast, and equipped, with our new stealth systems. Hana nodded. When do we leave? In 3 days, when Neptune creates the largest sensor gap. Your mission is simple. Get beyond the blockade, confirm we can do it, and return. Don't engage with any Confederation ships. Hana's mission was the most dangerous operation attempted since the blockade began. If caught, The Confederation would know humans were actively resisting their restrictions, which could lead to harsher measures or even direct military action. 3 days later, Hana and her small crew of 5 launched from the hidden station. The Shadow Dancer was disguised as a small mining vessel, the kind that commonly traveled between Earth and the outer asteroid belt. Approaching Neptune's orbit, Hana's navigator reported. Confederation patrol ships are in their predicted positions. Activate stealth systems, Hana ordered. The ship's exterior changed color to match the blackness of space. Its engines switched to the new silent mode developed by Jiho's team, which produced almost no detectable energy signature. Slowly, the Shadow Dancer approached the gap in the blockade. Minutes stretched like hours as they passed between 2 large Confederation patrol vessels. None of the crew spoke. They barely breathed. "We're through," the navigator finally whispered. "We've passed the blockade line." Hana allowed herself a small smile. "Take us out another 1,000,000 kilometers, then circle back. I want to scan their blockade from the outside." The Shadow Dancer continued outward, becoming the first human ship to travel beyond the Confederation's boundary in 6 months. Hana's crew collected valuable data about the blockade structure and weaknesses. "It's not as solid as they want us to believe," Hana noted as she studied the sensor readings. "There are multiple gaps we could exploit, especially if we had more ships with our stealth capability." After gathering all the data they could, the Shadow Dancer slipped back through the blockade and returned to the hidden station. Hana's successful mission changed everything. It proved the Confederation could be outmaneuvered. In a secure meeting room on the Prometheus station, Earth's resistance leaders gathered to hear Hana's report. "This confirms what we hoped," Jinwoo said when she finished. "Their blockade has weaknesses we can exploit." "It's time for the next phase," Taeho decided. "Operation Whisper will begin immediately." Operation Whisper was the name given to humanity's bold plan, establishing hidden colonies beyond the solar system while developing technologies the Confederation had forbidden. Small stealth ships would slip through the gaps in the blockade, carrying supplies and personnel to establish these secret outposts. Su Jin, who maintained her position as a diplomat working with the Confederation, provided crucial information from her regular meetings with Vixal and other alien officials. "They believe we've accepted our situation," she reported during a secure communication. "They're actually reducing the number of ships in the blockade because they think we're complying with their restrictions." This was exactly what the Resistance had hoped for. The Confederation's overconfidence would be their weakness. Over the next months, more stealth ships were built in hidden facilities throughout the asteroid belt. Earth publicly focused on developing its colonies within the solar system, giving no hint of their secret activities. Jiho's research teams continued to make breakthroughs. "We're not just copying their technology anymore," he told Taeho during one of his visits. "We're improving it, taking it in directions they never considered." "How is that possible?" Taeho asked. "They've had this technology for thousands of years." "That's exactly why," Jiho explained, his eyes bright with excitement. "They stopped innovating because they didn't need to. They found solutions that worked and stuck with them. Humans never stopped looking for better ways." By the end of the first year of the blockade, humanity had established 3 small colonies in nearby star systems. The first was in the Tau Ceti system, just 12 light-years from Earth. The second was in the Epsilon Eridani system, and the third orbited a planet in the 82G Eridani system. These colonies were small, with fewer than 100 people each. But they represented something powerful: humanity's refusal to be contained. In his private quarters aboard the main Earth defense station, Admiral Taeho looked at a secure display showing the locations of these secret colonies. Beyond the solar system, beyond the blockade, humanity was spreading among the stars despite the Confederation's efforts. "They thought they could cage us," he said softly to himself. "They're about to learn that humans don't accept cages. We break them." The resistance had begun. The next step would be even bolder. 5 years had passed since the Confederation imposed their blockade on humanity. What had begun as a small resistance had grown into a complex network of hidden colonies, research stations, and stealth ships operating throughout and beyond the solar system. In a laboratory deep inside the lunar base, Dr. Yoonji Yoon stared at the brain scans on her screen. As a neurobiologist, she had been working on understanding how human brains processed information differently from alien minds. The results are consistent, she told her assistant. Human neural pathways adapt much faster than any Confederation species we've studied. Before the blockade, Yoonji had been a promising researcher at a medical center in New Seoul. Now, at 34, she led the most important research project in human history. The door to her lab slid open, and Admiral Tae-ho entered with Dr. Ji-ho Kang. Both men looked tired but excited. "We came as soon as we got your message," Tae-ho said. "You said you had a breakthrough?" Yoonji nodded, her eyes bright despite her exhaustion. "We've done it. The neural link works." She led them to another room where a young pilot sat in what looked like a modified flight chair. On his head was a sleek helmet with thin wires connecting to a nearby computer. "This is Captain Minho," Yoonji introduced him. "He's been testing the prototype." Minho smiled. "It's like nothing I've ever experienced, Admiral." "Show them," Yoonji encouraged. Minho nodded and closed his eyes. On a large screen in front of him, a simulation began. It showed a spacecraft flying through an asteroid field, moving with impossible speed and precision. "He's controlling the ship with his thoughts," Yoonji explained. "But it's more than that. The neural link lets him feel the ship as if it were his own body. He doesn't need to think about controls or systems. He just thinks about moving and the ship moves." Tae-ho watched in amazement as the virtual ship performed maneuvers that would be impossible for even the most skilled pilot using traditional controls. "How is this possible?" Ji-ho asked, studying the equipment with professional interest. "We combined our understanding of human neurology with the quantum processing technology you developed," Yoonji explained. "The link translates neural impulses into commands at quantum speeds. There's almost no delay between thought and action." She paused, then added the most important part. "No Confederation species could use this system effectively. Their neural structures don't adapt quickly enough. This is uniquely human technology." Tae-ho understood immediately what this meant. "With this, our pilots could outfly any Confederation ship." "Not just outfly them," Yoonji said. "A neural-linked pilot could process tactical information, target weapons, and control defensive systems all at once, faster than any conventional crew." "How soon can we implement this in actual ships?" Tae-ho asked. "We've already modified the Shadow Dancer for a full test," Yoonji said. "Hana has volunteered to be the first pilot to use it in space." 3 days later, Hana Choi sat in the command chair of the Shadow Dancer as technicians fitted the neural link helmet to her head. "Are you sure about this?" Jinwoo asked her. He had come to witness the test and couldn't hide his concern. Hana smiled confidently. "I've been flying ships since before we knew aliens existed. This is just the next step." When the technicians finished, Yoonji gave Hana final instructions. "Remember, don't try to control the ship with your hands or voice. Just think about what you want it to do. The link will translate your intentions." Hana closed her eyes as the system activated. At first, she felt dizzy as new sensations flooded her mind. Then, suddenly, she could feel the ship around her as if it were her own body. The engines were like muscles, the sensors like eyes and ears, the hull like skin. "This is," Hana whispered. "I can feel everything." She opened her eyes and thought about moving the ship forward. Instantly, the Shadow Dancer glided away from the dock, its movements smooth and precise. "All systems functioning normally," reported a technician. "Neural interface is stable." Over the next hour, Hana put the ship through increasingly complex maneuvers. She navigated through narrow passages in the asteroid belt that would have been impossible with conventional controls. She executed combat maneuvers that generated G-forces that would have incapacitated her without the link managing the ship's internal systems to compensate. When she finally returned to the dock, the observation room erupted in cheers. "This changes everything," Tae-ho said to Ji-ho as they watched the ship dock with perfect precision. Meanwhile, the secret colonies beyond Neptune had grown. What had started as small outposts with a handful of people had developed into true settlements. The colony in the Tau Ceti system, named New Hope, now had over 500 residents living in habitats built inside a small rocky planet. These colonies focused on two things: staying hidden from Confederation detection and developing new technologies. Scientists and engineers who couldn't work freely under Confederation observation found freedom in these distant outposts. Jinwoo had become the coordinator for these colonies, traveling between them in his upgraded ship, the Phoenix Ascendant. On his latest visit to New Hope, he met with the colony leader, Dr. Minji Kwan. Production of the new stealth materials is ahead of schedule, Minji reported as they walked through the underground facility. We can now code a ship twice the size of your Phoenix with full stealth capabilities. Excellent, Jinwoo said. And the quantum communications network. We've established stable links with the other colonies in Earth. Messages now take minutes instead of days, and the Confederation can't detect them. Jinwoo nodded with satisfaction. When the blockade had first been imposed, humanity had seemed trapped and powerless. Now, 5 years later, they had not only escaped their cage but were building something the Confederation couldn't imagine. Back on Earth, Sujin continued her diplomatic role, meeting regularly with Vixal and other Confederation representatives. Over the years, she had mastered the art of appearing cooperative while revealing nothing of humanity's true activities. We appreciate the Confederation's guidance, she told Vixal during their monthly meeting. Humanity has learned much about our place in the galaxy. Vixal seemed pleased. Your species has shown remarkable adaptation to the necessary restrictions. The Council is considering allowing expanded trade within your solar system as a reward for your compliance. That would be most welcome, Sujin replied with a carefully measured smile. What Vixal and the Confederation didn't know was that while they thought they were slowly domesticating humanity, humans were preparing for freedom on a scale the aliens couldn't imagine. In a secure meeting room on the lunar base later that week, Earth's leaders gathered to discuss the next phase of their plan. The neural link technology is ready for wider implementation, Yunji reported. We can begin installing it on all our stealth ships immediately. The colonies are secure and growing, Jinwoo added. New Hope will reach 1,000 residents next month. Taeho looked around the table at the faces of those who had led humanity's quiet resistance. Then it's time to move forward with the final preparations. The Confederation believes they've contained us. Soon they'll discover how wrong they've been. Across the solar system and beyond, humanity prepared for the day when they would reveal the truth. Earth would not be caged, and the stars would soon learn to fear not just what humans could do, but what humans could become. The moment that changed the galaxy forever began with a simple mistake. A Confederation patrol ship, adjusting its course near the Tau Ceti system, detected an unusual energy signature. Following standard protocol, the captain sent a small scout vessel to investigate. What the scout found shocked the Confederation to its core. A human colony, thriving on a small rocky planet. New Hope had grown to over 1,000 residents, with farms, factories, and research facilities all hidden beneath the planet's surface. But now their secret was exposed. The Confederation response was swift and uncompromising. Within days, a battle fleet of 30 large warships gathered and set course for Tau Ceti. Their mission was clear: destroy the illegal human settlement, and send a message that the containment of humanity was absolute. Admiral Taeho received the alert in his command center on the lunar base. The emergency quantum communication from New Hope was brief, but clear. We've been discovered. Confederation. Fleet approaching. Estimated arrival in 3 days. Taeho immediately activated the emergency response plan they had prepared for years. Across the solar system, hidden shipyards revealed their secrets as dozens of stealth vessels moved into position. Each was equipped with the neural link technology and crewed by pilots specially trained to use it. This is not a drill, Taeho announced to all resistance forces. Operation Starburst is now active. Jinwoo Lee, aboard the Phoenix Ascendant, was closest to Tau Ceti. I can reach New Hope in 30 hours if I push the engines to maximum, he told Taeho over the secure channel. Do it, Taeho ordered. Begin evacuation of non-essential personnel. Everyone else prepares to defend. I'm coming with the main fleet. Within hours, 25 of Earth's most advanced ships launched from hidden bases throughout the solar system. Each vessel slipped through the gaps in the Confederation blockade, which had grown lax over the years as the aliens became convinced of humanity's compliance. Aboard the flagship Liberty, Tejo stood on the bridge as his neural-linked pilot guided the ship out beyond Neptune's orbit. The Liberty was larger than any stealth ship they had built before, nearly half a kilometer in length. It carried advanced weapons developed by combining human creativity with adapted alien technology. "All ships report ready, Admiral," his communications officer announced. "The fleet is assembled and awaiting your command." Tejo nodded grimly. "Set course for Tau Ceti, maximum speed." The human fleet raced toward the distant star system, pushing their engines beyond what conventional wisdom said was possible. The neural-linked pilots could feel their ships at a fundamental level, allowing them to make micro-adjustments that squeezed extra performance from every system. In New Hope, Jin Woo had arrived and was helping organize the defense. "We can't evacuate everyone in time," he told Minji Quan, the colony leader. "We need to make a stand here." The colonists had prepared for this possibility. Hidden defense systems emerged from beneath the planet's surface. Every adult capable of fighting took up positions. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they wouldn't surrender easily. Jin Woo's ship joined 6 smaller vessels that had been based at the colony. "Form a defensive perimeter," he ordered their captains. "We need to buy time until the main fleet arrives." The Confederation fleet appeared 2 days later, dropping out of faster-than-light travel on the edge of the Tau Ceti system. They moved with the confidence of a force that expected no real resistance. "Attention, illegal human settlement," the Confederation commander broadcast. "You have violated the containment protocols established for your species. Surrender now or be destroyed." Jin Woo responded from the Phoenix Ascendant. "We will not surrender our right to the stars. Humanity does not accept your chains." The Confederation ships moved forward, weapons charging. They expected a brief one-sided battle against a few outdated human vessels. What they didn't expect was for those ships to move with impossible speed and precision. The neural-linked pilots danced their vessels between Confederation energy beams, retaliating with weapons that struck with pinpoint accuracy. Still, 7 human ships could not hold back 30 Confederation warships for long. 2 of the smaller vessels were destroyed in the first exchange. The others took damage but continued fighting. Just as the Confederation ships closed in for the kill, space seemed to ripple behind them. Tejo's fleet had arrived. "All ships engage," Tejo ordered. "Target their engines and weapons first." The Confederation commander was stunned to see 25 advanced human vessels suddenly appear behind his fleet. Before he could reorganize his forces, the neural-linked human pilots were already weaving between his ships, their attacks precise and devastating. "This is impossible," the commander shouted as reports of damage flooded in. "How did they build these ships? How are they flying like this?" The battle that followed lasted less than an hour. The Confederation ships, despite their larger size and greater firepower, couldn't land effective hits on the human vessels. The neural-linked pilots predicted their attack patterns and moved faster than the aliens thought possible. Human weapons, designed specifically to target weaknesses in Confederation shields and armor, cut through the alien defenses. System by system, ship by ship, the mighty Confederation fleet was disabled or destroyed. When it ended, only 7 Confederation vessels remained operational, surrounded by the human fleet. "This is Admiral Tejo Kim of Earth," he broadcast to the remaining alien ships. "Your fleet is defeated. Withdraw immediately and carry this message to your council. Humanity will not be contained." The surviving Confederation ships retreated, jumping away to carry news of the shocking defeat back to their leadership. For the first time in thousands of years, the Confederation had been defeated in battle by a species they had thought safely controlled. 3 days later, Sujin Park stood before the Confederation Council. She had requested this emergency meeting in her role as Earth's diplomat, though the council members now looked at her with mixture of fear and anger. "What happened at Tau Ceti?" was the inevitable result of your attempt to cage a species that cannot be caged. Sujin told them, her voice calm but firm. You sought to contain us because you feared our potential. In doing so, you guaranteed we would fulfill it. She activated a holographic display showing the positions of human settlements and ships throughout nearby star systems. There were far more than the Council had imagined. Humanity does not seek war with the Confederation, Sujin continued. We offer instead a new relationship, not as a contained species but as equals. We bring innovation where you have stagnation, adaptation where you have rigid tradition, and fresh perspectives where you have ancient assumptions. The Council chamber was silent as the implications settled in. The Confederation had ruled space unopposed for millennia. Now they faced a choice: continue a conflict they might not win, or accept a new reality. We propose a new covenant, Sujin said. Free exchange of knowledge and culture, open trade without restrictions, mutual respect without hierarchy. Weeks of tense negotiations followed, but the demonstration of human capabilities at Tau Ceti had made its point. The Confederation could not contain humanity without a war that would reshape the galaxy, a war they might lose. 1 year later, Jinwoo stood on the observation deck of New Hope's main facility, looking up at the night sky. Ships from a dozen different alien species now visited the colony regularly, bringing goods and knowledge to trade. Did you ever imagine it would turn out this way? Hana asked, joining him at the viewport. Jinwoo shook his head. They feared us so much they tried to cage us. Now they come to us eagerly for what we can teach them. Across the galaxy, humanity's influence spread, not through conquest as the Confederation had feared, but through innovation. Human adaptability and creativity sparked a renaissance in sciences that had stagnated for centuries. The neural link technology became the foundation for new forms of communication and understanding between species. Earth's legacy was not destruction or domination, but transformation. The stars had learned to fear not humanity's capacity for violence, but their ability to change the unchangeable, to imagine the unimaginable, and to become what no one, not even themselves, had dreamed possible.